it again is a continuous improvement. It's not just done once and then forget. It's not about do it and then forget. It's about a continuous improvement of PDC, as we discussed, the Kaizen, continuous improvement, plan, do, check, act, plan, do, check, act. That goes into the loop. That's how exactly you would need to implement Kanban on a day-to-day basis. That's why it's not one-time activity. It's basically driven on a day-to-day basis for every piece of work, whether you're implementing SAFe, as in the Scaled Agile Framework, or implementing Scrum, or Lean, or any others. Irrespective of the Agile methodology, Kanban beautifully fits in there because it is an approach. It's not a standalone method by itself. Even though some of the, for example, some of the maintenance kind of or support projects where you already got a project or the software system developed, for example, you've got a CRM system that is already there, and you can try and implement, you can try and improve that. So you already got a system. So the only way you can try and improve that is basically to raise what we call as tickets. You raise the tickets to understand what needs to be addressed and what needs to be improved, right? So that is a support project. So that's a separate project. That's where beautifully Kanban fits in, because you don't have to really have a clear idea of how many you can do, because that comes in the flow. Because sometimes it could be one ticket or it could be 100 tickets, depending on how many defects the customer or the users raise. So there Kanban fits in beautifully, there's no doubt. But also fits in with the Scrum type in the context of a development project as well, because you've got the flow everywhere. The development work is also there. And that's where it really is a fantastic toolkit to be used in Scrum, XP, Extreme Programming, Lean, SAFe, DSDM, any kind of software development. It really fits in beautifully, because again, it's how you structure your flow of work and how you can actually visually indicate that and take steps to remove the bottlenecks. The important thing to note here, I think this is very important. I did mention that before, that Kanban does not rely on the concept of a time box. So there's no time box concept in Kanban, unlike what we have in Scrum. In Scrum, we've got the sprint, right? So we've discussed that last part. We went in depth in terms of sprint planning, sprint execution, sprint review, sprint retrospective, the daily stand-ups. And then we had a look at how the sprint itself has got what we call the sprint backlog. All of that is fantastic for Scrum. And that's how Scrum manages the work. But Kanban doesn't manage the work in time boxes. There's no time limit, or there's no way that it actually says this must be done in 2 weeks. And that's why the reason why Kanban perhaps is not a fully fledged Agile methodology on its own is basically down to this aspect of a lack of a time boxing methodology. And that's why it actually fits in beautifully within Scrum. So if you have got a Scrum team, Kanban is a way to get the work done, but then it cannot be on its own. You cannot just implement Kanban on its own without actually having the Scrum artifacts and Scrum structure laid on the top. And that's why for development work, I would say Kanban is aiding, is supporting it. But if it is just a maintenance or a support project, yes, Kanban can by itself. You don't have to have a Scrum or any other Agile development, because we'll go through that. Why it is because the fact that you are trying to look only at the flow of work.